This week, we've got some massive updates to voice AI, conversation AI, as well as some updates to the pricing for your text messages and calling. You are not going to want to miss this week's weekly breakdown coming up right now. Hey, what's up, guys? First up, we have some updates to domain purchasing ability inside of HighLevel. If you didn't know, now you do. You're able to buy domains directly inside of your HighLevel account. In fact, we've implemented it as a part of our onboarding flow. So if a client comes on board and they don't already have a domain, we're going to have them buy a domain through their HighLevel account so that we can make sure we get your email deliverability dialed in, that you have a place to host your funnels and websites and stuff like that. So really simple flow, simple enough that we're, again, doing this in onboarding, have our clients doing this in onboarding. The updates here, though, are that we now have a couple more options as far as how to purchase those domains. So number one, we now have .ai as a domain supported in here. So any sort of, any domain that you want to buy that you want a .ai extension on, that is now possible to buy inside of HighLevel. And the next thing that they did is they made it so that you can purchase multiple years at a time. And so this makes it so that your maintenance, like your ongoing maintenance for your domains is lowered a little bit. I think it's cheaper. We'll see. Let's look for a .ai domain really quick. So if we were to go like mortgagepros.ai or something like that, all right? Let's go. It's not available. Mortgagepros.me is available. Awesome. So you notice we do have much more options. It's pretty cool. I like this is a really good experience. It pulls in like similar domains because the one that you search for isn't available. And then I can come in here and I can buy either for 1 year or I can go 2 years, 3 years. There is no price break. That's why I was going in to look at this. No price break on that. It just makes it a little bit easier long-term maintenance wise. Gives you the peace of mind to know that your domain's not going to expire. You're going to forget to make the payment a year from now, whatever. So yep, we typically only buy on 1 year. So, but I do know plenty of people that are going to be more into like purchasing this for a long term. So if that's you, go in. You can now search for an AI domains with a .ai extension, and you can purchase any domain for multiple years at a time. All right, next up, we've got a lot of updates to AI this week. And so before I jump into the first one is around conversation AI. A lot of these are going to be around voice AI, some cool new features and updates that make it more likely that we're going to be jumping in and trying to figure this out soon. We've seen a lot of development, a lot of improvement in this area. We've seen a lot of loan officers that are more interested in this than they were 6 months to a year ago. So with that being said, this is a very labs heavy week, meaning if you like most of the updates that I'm talking about today, you have to have enabled in labs in order for them to work. And so you need to go into labs. This is in the settings section of your sub account. Go into labs and make sure you turn on any of these features that we talk about that you're interested in. So the first one that we're going to talk about is the ability to conversationally cancel and reschedule your appointments via the conversation AI or what we would call like the text bot, right? So you have voice bots, voice agents, and then you have text agents. So for the text agents, you now have the ability to conversationally reschedule and cancel appointments. So if a lead says, hey, I'm sorry, I can't make the appointment, I need to reschedule, the bot will actually be able to pick that up and get them back on the calendar in a time that works for both of you guys. So in order to turn this on, you need to go into the conversation AI settings, go to your bot goals, and go to the appointment booking action. And then you would come in here, you'd pick your calendar. So let's say we want to go a strategy call here. You can tell it to not book the appointment and only send the booking link, or you can have it booked directly on your calendar. So you can do a couple different options here, but the new ones are this: allow bot to cancel the appointment, allow bot to reschedule the appointment. So these are new options that even if you were using Conversation AI or you are using Conversation AI, you didn't have access to those. You won't until you go enable those features in labs, but once you do, then you should be able to come over here and adjust these settings. All right, moving on to the voice AI agent. Guys, we've definitely seen massive improvements, specifically this week. This week, there were 3 or 4 noteworthy improvements that have me like kind of interested in geeking out on this a little bit. So I'll keep you guys posted if and when I do that. But basically, I think it was last week they announced that you can now link up knowledge bases to the voice AI agent, which is cool. So these knowledge bases are ones that you created likely for Conversation AI. They have a new section called knowledge base because these knowledge bases are going to be like shared between Conversation AI and voice AI agents. Now it's this shared knowledge base area. So you go in, as far as like adding stuff to the knowledge base, that's going to be having them scrape websites, uploading files, etc. But if you come in here, you can select your knowledge base. You can come in here, details to collect from the contacts. So these are like questions that we want to answer before we execute any of the goals that we're trying to execute. And then we can even trigger a workflow when the call is completed. So this unlocks a lot of potential automation on the back end of this. But if we go into this, let's see, what were the new updates? So the newest updates as part of this were appointment booking is now available in voice AI. Custom actions are now available in voice AI. So much more flexibility on what you can do with this. Before it was just almost like a gimmicky, like just a, QA help agent, like, something like that. Like basically no use for a loan officer. But at the point that voice AI agent can book appointments on your calendar, you can link it up to your IVR. So, call comes in, and the first line of defense is your AI agent. Basically, they can either book them on your calendar if it makes sense, or they can book it on the calendar of maybe one of your processors, if depending on what it is that they're looking for. So definitely some cool stuff here. Obviously, taking a little bit of time to load. Let me reload this, and we'll go. So agent goals, awesome. Okay. So now we're in this agent goals. They also added this little test module here, which I think is really cool. You basically just put a phone number, it's gonna call you, and you can test how this agent is operating right on the spot instead of having to go and recreate this through a workflow. So really cool. This is one of the new developments. Being able to select a number pool is a new development. We don't really do anything with number pools, so it's not even worth talking about at this point, but you can enable AI agent as a backup. This is, definitely some cool stuff in here. If the execution is there, as far as features go, as far as what you can do with this, it's definitely worth exploring voice AI. If you have any experience with it, we'd love to hear about it. Otherwise, I will let you guys know when we get the opportunity to jump in and test this out some more. All right, next few updates are going to be a little bit different. I'm going to stay in the ClickUp board and then the change log for a few of these updates. They're just a little bit easier to explain that way. So this first one is CRM contacts and the client portal. So basically what this is you now have a document management system inside the client portal. So the same client portal that as a loan officer you would use for like memberships for coaching, or either you could use this as like an intranet for your mortgage company. You could use this as like a community for you to connect with your real estate agents, or a first-time home buying, a financial fitness community for you to prospect and build relationships with potential home buyers, right? That's like the membership, kind of learning management system section. You also have the community component of that, which is like school, replacing school, and the ability to actually like engage with your community, chat with people in the community, etc. So those are like the two main components that are valuable to a loan officer in the client portal. Now there's this new layer of things that, depending on what your workflow is, your processes are, what point of sale and LOS you're using, kind of interesting here. So you now have the ability to send and receive documents from your customers that are in the client portal, right? I struggle with that word. I wanted to say borrowers, but really it's like prospects as well. Basically anybody, any contact that you have in the client portal, you now have the ability to share or share documents directly with them, share files directly with them by uploading it. And in fact, actually, this probably should have been an on-screen one. I'll go ahead and jump in really quick. To show you this. I just I don't have the document management portion enabled in our client portal. And so I wasn't going to be able to show you that side of it, but I can show you on this side of it what it looks like if we were to go ahead and add a document. And I'll just go ahead and upload any file. So we'll go section internal. Awesome. Let's grab this and we'll go ahead and add like a our thumbnail for our last weekly breakdown. So we're uploading this. Awesome. This is going in the internal section right here. It gives me the ability to download. You have outbound conversations, documents, and contracts. And so I'm wondering, so from here, it didn't let me, when I did this, it didn't let me pick in the drop down. So I'm guessing it's not letting me because again, if I go to the client portal, that app is not even enabled. So again, just showing you in here, if I come into client portal, I go here, settings, app permissions. Oh, shared files is turned on. You know what? I don't know. I should have prepared a little bit better for that. But essentially, the experience is that you're able to upload documents to the shared files like section, and then it goes when somebody logs into the client portal where they access their learning and they access the communities that you have. They also have a section for managing those documents and for accessing those documents, and they can upload documents back to you. They can download documents from there. Obviously, we can see the use case for that in the mortgage industry, but also there's a lot of tools out there. I don't talk to a lot of loan officers that aren't already using a point of sale that has this functionality. So I'll be curious. I'm curious to see how people end up using this, and if they end up using this, keep us posted. But that is the document sharing functionality inside of the client portal. All right, so speaking of that same feature, they added this to the mobile app as well. So they added like documents and files has been available inside of, documents and contracts have been available inside of the HighLevel like desktop app. You have like a little tab where you can access documents and contracts. But if we go in here and we open up one of these, this documents and files section, this wasn't accessible through the mobile app. So now with the latest mobile app update, you'll want to make sure that's up to date. But with the latest mobile app update, you now actually have the ability to access those same documents and files inside the mobile app. It's a tab just like it is over here. So check that out. Documents and files now also accessible within the mobile app. All right, the last couple updates that I have for you guys, a little bit less fun to talk about. Number one, SMS and MMS pricing changes are going into effect. So basically carriers are raising prices. This is also applicable for voice calling. So I'll pull up both of these and we'll go over what these pricing increases look like. So these are updated rates. United States looks like no updated rate for outbound, but inbound messages are now being charged at a little less than 1 cent, 0.0083 cents. I believe this is a change from like 0.0079, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, so very minimal, but also like I gotta tell you guys, right? I gotta let you guys know. Nobody else is telling you guys these things, so just know that your pricing is going to go up on your usage a little bit, no matter what like agency you're working with. This is a HighLevel, not only a HighLevel thing, but like a Twilio thing, a carrier thing. It looks like US is not affected by the voice, the increase in voice pricing. So it's only the texting, it's only inbound text messages that are going up, and they're only going up a little bit, but I wanted to make sure you guys knew. All right, lastly, this is an update to A2P registration. This is a very welcome update, an update from us at Empower. A2P turn times are back to like 24 to 48 hours at a maximum. So we went through a little bit of adjustment period. Don't know exactly what was going on HighLevel side or on Twilio side and why. There was a couple week period time there where it looked like we were going back to the stone ages of A2P. But that is no longer the case. We're now getting approvals in 24 to 48 hours. This is another welcome update, right? This is now they're bringing back sole proprietor A2P registrations, aka no EIN needed. So for the last few months, you've needed an EIN, even if you are a sole prop, even if you don't own your own business, you could go to the IRS site, generate an EIN as a sole prop, and we were using that. That is no longer needed. And what is needed though is a little bit of extra identity verification. And so if you do go into an A2P registration and you do not have an EIN, you are going to have mandatory identity verification, which is pretty simple. It's that whole like upload a picture of your ID, do the whole, hold your camera up and do weird stuff with your face to make sure that it can identify you. So that process is pretty simple, but it is there. And again, I would take it over not allowing people to move forward without an EIN. So definitely welcome update on the A2P front. Check it out. All right, guys, that's it for this week's weekly breakdown. A lot of updates specifically to AI features. Go check those out. Make sure you turn them on in labs first or they're not going to work for you. Guys, thank you so much for watching this week's weekly breakdown. Until next time, we'll see you at the top.